Should we, as South Sudanese, be worried or should we be relieved?
I, I really don't think there is any danger in the removal of Vice President Mel from his position. I think he really doesn't pose any threat to the government because one, this is a guy who just surfaced the other day into the political space. He has no basis. I mean, he has not established the political network in the. I mean, he doesn't have support on the ground, even in his own county or his own state. He doesn't have followings. So I don't see the removal of Benjamin Bol Mel as a threat to the security of the country because who is he going to mobilize? How is he going to mobilize? He has no networks. If he had served in the liberation war, maybe like one of the generals, then that is when people should have the fear. But Mel doesn't have that capacity to stage any kind of maybe what did I say? Um, a kind of like a revenge against the president. He doesn't have that capacity to do that because he does not have the network. He doesn't have the army is not so much allied to him. He is stripped, and that's what, by the way, the president started by doing. Make sure that he is relieved. And when you follow the decree, the way how it was issued, it was first the removal of him from being dismissed from the NSS, and then the army, and then finally comes to the vice president. That clearly tells you that he was, I mean, he was actually, I mean, all the privileges that were given to him were taken out. So I don't see Mel posing a threat to the security of the country because he does not have the ground base. He has never been down to earth. He doesn't have even any history of being a very prominent guy in the army. He just got promoted the other day into a full general, and he doesn't pose any threat. I don't think there's any reason why people should get worried of Benjamin Bol Mel being a threat to the security of the country. He can only be a threat if maybe he go and maybe ally with some of the guys who had the capacity and have actually maybe defected. They are in the bush. If he allied with them, but again, one of the strategies that Kiir has been using of late is that when he dismissed you from a position, he makes sure that you are detained within Juba. You're not allowed to move anywhere. And I think that is the step next that he's going to do to Mel as well. But even if he makes Mel move freely, still doesn't have the capacity to wage any revengeful move against President Kiir or the government of South Sudan. And I don't see him as a threat to the security of the country at all. Yeah.
What about the fact that Bol Mel is one of the richest people in South Sudan, and with that comes the capacity to be able to buy people?
Um, he's not gonna do that. Um, I think that's a good observation. But you know, the politics in our country operates a little bit different. The way how things operate in our country is not like the way how it operates in other countries like Kenya. I mean, it's very hard for you to buy someone in South Sudan and then you want to Yesterday I watched a video of how there's one guy who make like very frequent videos about the political situation in the country. And then he said, actually, before the decree was issued today, last night, I watched the video and then he was explaining that the reason why actually Mel might likely be dismissed tomorrow is because uh, there's this thing that Mel got involved in where there is one person who works for the president as a witch doctor, a person who tells like foresees the future of the president. And Mel went and bought this person, and this person was supposed to create some kind of confusion within the presidency. So Kiir would, and I heard that he paid a huge money to this person, but this person went back and told the president about all the plan, and that's the reason why there's a kind of tensions between the president and Mel. So I feel um, the political operations in our country, it's a kind of a different that so many people are so much allied to someone that comes from their place, and they really don't consider the issue of money as a very important thing. You can give someone money but they still go back to that person and tells you that this is the thing that they are plotting against you. So whereas you might have the financial capacity, but I don't think, I mean, what are you going to do with the money? Are you going to you know the money you have are not arms? That's one thing. The money you have are not soldiers that you need to be a threat to a country. To be a threat to a country, you need to have a huge following. You need to have a military capability. You need to have, I mean, the mobilization ability, mobilize people across the country, make them train, buy for them all these things. And one thing is that he is one guy whose assets are actually frozen in the United States, and he is under sanctions. So I don't think there is anything he can do outside the country. It's very hard because majority of the coordinations that if one person wants to do in the politics of a country is one when you have very high connection with the United States of America. So once you have issues with the US, I think you have less chances of succeeding in any plot that you want to perform against an establishment in any country. And I think that is one thing that will work against Mel, because one, he has issues with the United States, is under sanctions. Even if he has the money, he will not have the ability to mobilize across the country, will not have the network. He is stripped of all the powers that he had, and therefore he will not have that capacity to mobilize people against the president, against the government of South Sudan, and against the people of South Sudan. He might have the financial muscle. That money alone is not enough to bring people, to motivate them to get weapons. I mean, where are you going to get the weapons in the first place? Where are you going to get it? For you to have weapons, you need weapons that might need to come through Uganda or come through Kenya before it lands in South Sudan. And Kenya and South Sudan is very good friends of Salva Kiir Mayardit. He has a very good working relationship. Probably they might not allow something like that happen, and therefore I don't see him posing a threat to the country at all. Yeah.
That is very interesting. Something you said. So we do have a witch doctor or a fortune teller in J1 that foresees and predicts what is likely to happen within the presidency.
That's what I had from that video. But I don't really want to treat it as a statement of fact, because I there's no any legit evidence that really tells us we do have someone like that sitting at J1 telling Kate about his future. But according to the video I watched, that's what the guy said. That there's someone who sits at J1 and tells Kate of his political future and knows when exactly his political career will come to an end, and what steps are threat to his presidency, and who are the threat to his presidency. That person keeps telling Kate about all this. Yeah.
Could this witch doctor have told Salva Kiir that Bol Mel is a threat to his leadership?
I think the kind of according to what that guy said, he said that Mel tried to create some confusion between Kir and the daughter, where I think because he felt like since the daughter of Kir was appointed to that position, she has become suddenly so powerful, and then like her presence on the media and everywhere is it's sufficing that of Mel, and that's what he didn't really want. And then I think Mel allegedly he told the witch doctor to create that kind of confusion and distrust between Kir and the daughter, and even said that the reason why Kir traveled to United Arab Emirates last time was to have a kind of reconciliation meeting, and like sit down with the family and the daughter and trace out what exactly came, and even said there was a time when this confusion came, the daughter actually wanted to resign. She wrote a resignation letter, and then she was like, I don't want to be seen as a reason maybe for my father's failure in the presidency. And then she took the letter to the uncles or the relatives, and the relative rejected it. And all, there's a kind of this. I looked at that guy like as a conspiracy theorist, and I really didn't take much of what he said so serious, because there's no, and this is not the first time I heard about the presence of that person at J1. But I don't want to say it's a factual information because there's no relevant evidence about that.
Right. And as they say, there's no smoke
Without fact.
without fire. Could
Exactly.
it be true that there is actually a
It
fortune
could.
teller at J1?
It could be true. It could be true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, given the total loss of political and military power, What do you foresee for Bol Mel personally and politically in the coming months?
Politically, I don't see him re-emerging into the political space because if he wants to do that, he needs to maybe come through a process which he might do that, but not in the next few months or so. If he wants to do that, if he has interest still in politics, then he has to go down to the grounds and maybe convince people. So next time we have an elections, so he can vie and become something. But yes, his political, I think, ambitions at the moment are crushed, and he really has nothing to make them or to water them, and then maybe at some point rematch. Maybe at some point when we have an election in the country and he wants to buy, he can maybe reemerge through that process, but not through the usual process of appointment and all this kind of stuff. I don't think he will ever reemerge into the political landscape of the country. And what he needs to do maybe is one, he go back and ventures into his businesses. That's what he can do. And but again, one thing is that I think if you have lost trust of the president, so many people were attributing all the businesses that he was running to the support of the president. But I think if you have actually hurted the president in the way he might have done, then I think he might also be striped off of the support that the president maybe was giving him in terms of the running the businesses. So yeah, but it's very normal that someone of his caliber can easily come from the position he was holding to completely an ordinary citizen. So he needs to accept that fact and that reality, and maybe just join the street as the majority of the South Sudanese as well, and also understand that that is the nature of politics. Yeah.
Right.